Libertarianism is all about individual liberty, and it should never be defined by the terms liberal or conservative.
And communism is no good.
That's right. Big swing and a miss.
Yeah. And what's the word for when a few clerics are in charge? Religious oligarchy.
Holy
I can remember things.
I guess.
Hey, keep mine rare.
A man after my own heart.
Hello class. Tomas, how are you? For our philosophical inquiry, our group, composed of Cecily, Matthew, Elijah, Will, and Amanda, will be looking at Nozick and how involved government should be. With elections upcoming and politics more complicated than people realize, people try to identify somewhere on the left or the right of the political spectrum. We believe that most fall closer to the middle, that it's not quite as simple as they originally assume. These interviews will not be looking at hot-button issues, such as same-sex marriage and abortion, as these issues generally come with prepackaged responses. Instead, we will provide thought-provoking questions dealing with libertarian values and their relation to politics in general. We'll be looking at issues such as morality, individual liberty, property, and welfare. Cheers. Our first question deals with welfare. Should the government provide safety nets for its citizens, such as Social Security and enforce minimum wage or unemployment benefits?
I think they should definitely do minimum wage, because there would be companies that just try to underpay their employees so much that they couldn't live at all. Oh yeah, I mean, Social Security is cool, except for that we're not going to get any of it. It'll be gone by the time that we get there. So I mean, we're just paying into something for our elderly, which is cool because they need it, and you have to, help your elderly and respect them. But it also kind of sucks that it'll be gone by the time we get there.
There's a lot of variables there, but in general, at least with the way it currently and has been done, I would say no.
Okay.
I think in general, the welfare system tends to create more of a dependence on the government, as opposed to creating a structure that allows people to support them for a bit to get them on their feet, so that then they can work and create a meaningful livelihood for themselves, as opposed to being sort of getting stuck in a cycle of continued. I'm getting more money from the government than I can ever get starting a job somewhere else, but starting a job is the most healthy thing, but there's no motivation to actually go do that. So does that make sense? Yeah. So something that would effectively press them towards a healthy transition.
Absolutely. Okay, cool.
I think absolutely they should, just because companies can always pay someone less to do the same job. There's this amount of people that are willing to work for almost nothing, especially if they're in the circumstance where that's the only work that they can find, like with illegal immigrants and things like that. So yeah, I definitely think that it's like the government's role to provide support for its citizens and like guaranteed food and shelter and things like that.
Our next question deals with government involvement. Should the government pass morality or paternal laws? Should it have the right to ban prostitution, or to make you wear your seatbelt or a helmet?
No, I don't think that that the government has a right to pass those types of laws. I think that it's my own choice as to whether I should wear a helmet or if I should sell my body or anything like that. It's my decision to do so. The government is just there to like protect me, but that's like infringement on my liberties, I suppose.
I am pro-choice, so I think it's, you want to put on a seatbelt, good for you. If you don't, hey, it's my decision. If I get into a car accident, I know the consequences, so be it.
Yes, with the examples you gave, I mean, that's a pretty wide moral range. I'd say for sure with, prostitution and, trafficking and things like that should definitely be illegal and enforced.
Okay.
Seatbelt and helmet laws, I mean, sure, if people want it, then go for it.
Our next question dealing with government deals with liberty. Is some form of mandatory civil service permissible for a country to impose on its citizens? For example, the military or the Peace Corps?
I don't think we have the obligation. I think if you cut out the government and have people contribute back into the communities that they fit into, I think it would be a lot better for everyone.
I'm not sure if I agree with that. It should be voluntary.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that being an advantage. I mean, you look at like Israel and Switzerland, I think are two countries that have compulsory military service.
Germany,
I think you see Germany. Yeah, I think you see a lot of strength that comes from that, as far as the people more real life training, if you will. I mean, when you put a gun in someone's hand, that's a lot more serious than going to high school.
Cool.
And so I think there can be, I mean, there's obviously some weaknesses possibly to it as well, but
Awesome.
in general, I think what you see as a result of those things is the strength.
I think you should, yeah. I think that would be something, because I mean, a lot of other countries do that. The countries that are doing that, they have a lot more national pride in their people. Their economies are slowly doing better because, I mean, when you don't have something that you're forced to go into to make yourself better almost when you got out of high school or get out of college right away, so that's going to force you to be like a good person. That's just going to put you on a better path for life and kind of just get a better idea in your head.
While on the subject of government, we will cover one hot button issue, and that is taxes. Would you prefer to pay your current tax rate and have the government provide public services? Or would you rather dramatically cut your taxes and have those services privatized?
I don't think the government should choose on that. The only reason I say that is, why would they choose to do that, and I can choose where I want my stocks and bonds to go? That's my money. How come I can choose that, but I can't choose other things? So I think there's too much control in that aspect, where they give us more freedom with other things. So
Yeah, I think the taxes to the government, if not more taxes to the government, to fix our streets and make sure that water is clean and drinkable, and infrastructure, I feel like just makes sense for the government to take care of.
Sure. I think for like roads and infrastructure, the government, that's a proper role for the government to fulfill, and I think it's fine for taxes to be used.
No, I would say no taxes. Again, it would kind of go back to the community style. If they're, if you want to be part of that, then you have to go and be in the community and what you have to offer. Sure. People should pay for taxes that they would like to pay for, whatever they want to use.
True.
I think taxes should be set up like they are now, because if people chose what they were paying taxes to, there would be some things that would just never get any funding whatsoever, and they would just crash and burn, and government would have too much money in some areas and not enough money in one area, and if they couldn't divvy that up, then they would just have surplus of money sitting there for stuff that they don't need, and so I think that should still be governmentally regulated.
For our last question this evening, we'll be dealing with the rights of property in regards to eminent domain. Does the government have the right to take private property for public use with compensation?
Type of bullying, man.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You own them shoes right there, but if I come and tell you I want them shoes,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna force you, like, well, here goes $60 and just take them off your feet.
Right.
You know, you ain't gonna want to walk home like that.
No, I don't think that should be allowed. But I mean, I guess if we live in a society where we were building houses hundreds and hundreds of years ago, and it didn't fit into like our grid system, that there could be some outlying examples of needing to take down some structures that have been in the way, that have been there for hundreds of years, in order to make like an urban environment more hospitable. But I feel like in general that should not be allowed. I think that's more of like a really out there example of something that could potentially happen, but that on the regular is like absolutely not. If you own your house, then the government should be able to come in and decide to take it away from you.
In general, yes, but a lot of that depends on how you define for the public use.
Right.
So, for example, in Arvada, I think it was in the town of Arvada where I lived, they exercised eminent domain to put a Walmart in. I don't think that's right, because that's for a private company. But in the case where there's they're putting a road through or widening a road, something like that, I think that's much more justifiable.
Yes, but I think it should be okayed with you. Like, you should get more of a warning than they give a lot of people. I feel like you should get more like a 90-day warning. Maybe like, hey, in a year, you're gonna have to be out of your house, so here's the money, you can go look for a new house, you can go get it, you can move all your stuff out, and then we're gonna tear your house down instead of just take it out. So I mean, I think it depends on the circumstance, especially if there's really no need, they shouldn't. But if it's for like a road or a highway, then yeah, I think it's necessary.
That's another difficult question. It's a case-by-case situation, I guess. Yes, but in general, yes. In general, yes. No, on the liberal side. Liberal side? On the liberal side.
Okay. That's all.
And I believe in, building communities and being more free without so many unjustified laws and stuff like that. So I'd be labeled as an anarchist.
Awesome. I consider myself to be a socialist.
I'm more in line with the Democratic views. Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Yeah, now I'm gonna say Democratic. Just watching everything that's been going on in the races, and actually who's going for the Republican side right now. I'm not for it. I mean, Trump, Carson,
Seriously.
Bush. I mean, they're not doing it. I mean, they're all over the place right there on the Republican side. So, I mean, kind of more on the Democratic side right now, but I'm not also for who's on the Democratic side right now, so we'll see as it gets closer to the election.
Kind of neutral, in between.
So, do you think more moderate or more independent?
A little more independent.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you for watching. Now, as you noticed, we ran the full spectrum from anarchist to socialist with our interviewees. Now, some of our interviewees did not identify their names or the political affiliation, as we felt we would get better answers and more truthful answers without that. We hope that you take everything you heard today and everything that you learned in this class and apply it to the political spectrum and your personal beliefs. And if you can do that, maybe you're coming out the other side knowing what you really believe in. Cheers.